Hey guys, welcome back. This is History of Futurama Season 4, Episode 3 of my show, which is also gonna be about Episode 3. Now, Episode 3 is, uh, called Anthology of Interest Part 2, so it's sort of this... So it's basically the second part in it, but it's a different storyline. Anyway, basically, I just thought I'd mention that since it has sort of the same title, except it's part 2, but it's like a different storyline. Anyway, so basically, just like the previous Anthology of Interest episode I did, this one is gonna show, four, I think it's either 4 or 3, yeah, it's 3 different scenarios. One for Bender, one for Fry, and one for Leela. However, the first 2, which are Bender and Fry's, are actually from the What If machine, and I'm not going to explain what Leela's is until I get to hers. I just wanted to bring that up. But anyway, basically, the way this episode starts off is the professor is hammering on the What If machine to basically fine tune it, and then he basically he tells them that he's finished fine tuning the What If machine, and he's asking any of them who wants to ask the What If machine a question. And the first one to ask is basically Bender, basically. Now his is sort of similar to the one that he had in Anthology of Interest Part 1. I say sort of. Sorry about that. I say sort of because, except in this one's case, he's not actually built as a 100-foot tall robot, sort of like the Iron Giant thing. Except in this one, he's, like I said, he's not a 100-foot tall robot. But basically, Bender's question that he wants the professor to ask the What If machine what if he was human, because yeah, he likes being a robot and all, but robots don't have emotions, and that's what makes him, and that makes him rather sad that they don't. And then basically the professor goes along with it after pitying him about that. He's like, oh, let's give baby what he wants. What if Bender were human? And then basically what happens in that one is the first What If machine thing, which is Bender's What If he was human. It starts off with the professor in the What If scenario using a process called Refossilazation to basically turn Bender from a robot into a human, basically. And the Bender that's in the What If machine scenario is having second thoughts about it. But the professor still activates it regardless. And using the refossilization process, he gets turned from a robot into a human being. And sorry about that. Anyway, basically, after that, what happens is, Bender as a human and Fry and Leela are basically enjoying life out as a human with Bender, and then Bender basically start to basically drink alcohol and smoke and stuff, just like when he was a robot, and then when he starts eating nachos because he's a human, and when the funny thing about him smoking and drinking when he's human is like, he's like, Bender, you drank and smoked when you were a robot. And then, but Bender says that but now drinking and smoking is bad for him because he's turned into a human. And basically after that, Bender actually starts dancing because the rhythm from the jukebox causes his human buttocks to act up, causing him to start dancing. And then basically after that, when they get back, the professor tells Bender that he's got to remain at the Planet Express building because of the fact that he has to show him off to the science people about the first robot being turned into a human to be accepted for an award later. And then but basically Bender basically doesn't go along with it, and it manages to escape. And then basically after that, what happens is Fry and Leela in the what if scenario go try to find him, and they do manage to find him later on. And that's when the professor is actually, this leads into the portion of the episode where in Bender's what if scenario that that the professor is trying to distract them to stall for time until Bender is here, and then Fry tells Fry in the what if scenario tells the professor that they found him, and the professor's like, oh, well, then without further stalling for time, I present to you the first robot ever turned human. And then basically what happens is after that, they see how Bender is, and he's chubby and stuff, and he's like basically fat and full of molds. And then basically he's asking him, one of them to give him a kiss, and then basically the professor said that's why he thinks he deserves the award. But then Professor Wernstrom tells him that not only does he not deserve the award, but he's kicked out of the Ministry of Science for creating this hulking monstrosity. And then basically Bender then tries to calm them down and mention that as man of science, isn't not possible to accept new things, new ideas. And then after that, they realized that he was right. And then basically Wernstrom says that they should all, and then basically Bender's like, party! And then they start partying. And then basically in the next scene, what happens is while they're after the partying segment of the episode, what happens is Wernstrom decides to give Bender one of the awards because he's learned a lot from being human in his short time. And then Bender says, woo, but that's the funny thing about it. In this is so sort of similar to the ending segment of Bender's first one in Anthology of Interest Part 1, he basically dies, and then but basically they hear him say woo, and then they're wondering why he's not moving, and then the professor realizes that Bender died, and then Dr. Lindstrom wonders when he died, and then he says a couple of hours ago when the party started, but then Lindstrom mentions that he was talking, he just said woo, and then the professor explains that that was actually air escaping from the molds in his fat and stuff. And then basically what happens is after that, they roll Bender out of the building, and then the narrator for the Tales of Interest stuff says, "You watched it, now you can't unwatch it. Stay tuned for more Tales of Interest." And then basically in the next one, the next segment of the Anthology of Interest episode focuses on Fry, because basically Fry asks the professor to ask the what if machine, what if life was like a video game, because he's good at video games and bad at everything else. So he was wondering, what if life were like a video game? And then basically, the professor lights a candle and then asks the what if machine Fry's question, what if life were like a video game? And then the way Fry's one starts off is basically Richard Nixon is like, "My fellow Earthicans, pay close attention as I sign an important peace contract treaty with Ambassador Kong of the planet Nintendu 64. And then that's when Fry sees him, and then he's like, "Wait a second." That's when Fry in the what if scenario says, after he sees him, he's like, "Wait a second, I know that monkey. His name is Donkey." Oh my god. And then the professor in that what if scenario is like, this is actually the funny part of it, because it's hilarious, because the professor's like, "Monkeys aren't donkeys. Stop messing with my head." Oh my god. I'm sorry, but that's, oh my god, that is so hilarious. Fry was not actually making a trying to mess with the professor's head by saying monkeys were donkeys. He was saying that because that's his actual name, because his name, he's a video game ape character named Donkey Kong. Oh my god. But I guess the professor, being a old man, only heard the monkey and donkey part of it. And then he's like, "Monkeys aren't donkeys. Stop messing with my head." Oh my god. And then basically what happens is, when they go to sign the East Treaty thing, what happens is then the Earth gets attacked. And then basically what happens is, and then basically what happens is they get invaded by space invaders, and then basically, Leela's like, invaders, possibly from space. Oh my god. Anyway, and then basically, I go to talk with the General Pac-Man in this episode, and basically the main antagonist of this segment of the episode is Lara, the ruler of the planet Omicron Pussy I ate, but in this what if scenario, he's the ruler of the planet Nintendu 64. Oh my god, because it's a what if scenario. And then basically, the General Pac-Man asks Fry what he knows about the he know about the Nintendians, and then Fry mentions to him that he spent all of some time of his life studying them, and he thinks that they have a chance to beat them, and then basically, what happens is after that, the Space Invaders show up, and then basically Fry gets the version of Fry gets both serious. I'm guessing it's both serious and excited at the same time, because what he says after that is, "All right, it's Saturday night. I got my mixtape, a 2-liter bottle of Shasta, and I can't remember what the third one was, but he mentions it, and he says, 'Let's rock,' and then basically he starts playing, doing the war as the Space Invaders video game, like the old classic Space Invaders game where you have to shoot the aliens while you have 3 shields, and you have to shoot the aliens before they get over your shields in order to beat them, and like basically by going, left and right, or in some cases shooting through the shield to destroy them. Oh my god. Anyway, basically Fry starts blasting them, and then when he manages to knock half of them out, Nina in Fry's little what if scenarios, asking Lur that they're losing ships and what is his orders, and then he said, "Increase speed. We're losing ships, Lur. What are your orders?" "Increase speed and change direction." And then he goes back to blasting, and then basically that's when Fry mentions about that he's like, "I still got some tricks left. Watch as I fire upward through our own shield." And then they're shocked by that, and they're both shocked by that, and Bender kind of freaking out by that because he's like, "He's a madman! A madman!" Oh my god, he's a madman! A madman! Oh, I'm sorry, but that's so hilarious. And because of doing that, Fry manages to get rid of most of the ships except for one, and then when Zoidberg in his little what if scenario sees that, he's like, "One ship is left only!" And then they all get excited about that, and then basically Leela is telling Fry to get it so they can win the one, and basically Fry's like, tells them that it's moving too fast, and he's like, "Oh, I could never get the last one. My brother always got it for me." And then basically Lura's like, "Drop down. Increase speed. Reverse direction. Prepare for landing." And then basically what happens is they lose the one because of the final ship landing, and then Fry types in the word. Oh my god, this is so funny. He types in the word as part of the initial. Oh my god, I'm sorry, but that's kind of hilarious. Oh my god. And then Lura's telling them that they're defeated. Instead of shooting where he was, they should have shot at where he was going to be. Sort of like, sort of like with what Hopalong was trying to tell Navidad Ramirez and them about she would not wear it in the Gangster Squad movie on Netflix, where to shoot the can, not where it was, but where it was gonna be. Oh my God! I'm sorry. And then they're wondering what it is they want, and then Donkey Kong's like, one thing and one thing only, one thing and one thing only, quarters, 1,000,000 allowances worth of quarters. And then basically one of the other Nintendians is like, fuck him over. And then basically the professor's like, forget it, you pixelated pirates. We need those quarters to do our laundry. But then there's like, but space invaders need to do laundry too. I mean, look at Donkey Kong. Have you smelled his loincloth lately? And then Zoidberg's like, yes. And then basically what happens is they're still wanting them to give them their quarters, but Amy's telling them that they're not giving them their quarters no matter what. But then Lurk comes up with a compromise where he says that, well then, could we at least put our laundry in with yours? And then they say that they don't see why not, and then basically Lurk says that that's a fair compromise, and then he gives them his cape, but then he's like, but if this cape shrinks, consider your species extinct! And that's basically where Fry's little Tales of Interest ends. And now I'm gonna lead into the final one, which is Leela's. Now, I'm just gonna mention this very quickly. Leela's little what if scenario isn't actually caused because of the what if machine. It's actually caused by an external force because she's knocked on by an external reason. But it's basically basically what happens in that dream world that she's in. That's basically in this episode serves as her what if scenario. It's like that the old Wizard of Oz film, with the Scarecrow, the Tin Man, the Lion, and Dorothy and stuff. Except in this case, the Scarecrow and the Tin Man are still here, but there's no lion in this case. Or anyway, basically what happens is it starts off with essentially Leela's version of the Wizard of Oz thing, where similar to how Dorothy got transported to Oz in the classic film, and then it was like, she's like, Nibbler, I don't think we're in New York anymore. So it's sort of similar to the we're not in Kansas anymore, a little bit funny line that has happened and stuff. Anyway, but just switching the words around, New York and not Kansas. I'm sorry, but that's funny. And anyway, basically what happens is as the Dorothy character meets Amy, who's basically the cute witch in the north in this episode, and then they're wondering what they can do, how she can get home, and then basically what happens is basically what happens is Amy the Cute Witch mentions about the professor in the Emerald Laboratory down Martin Luther King Boulevard. So basically, Leela as Dorothy goes with Bender as the Tin Man, Fry as the Scarecrow, and basically Zoidberg the Lobster as the character that needs courage and stuff. To meet this segment's version of the wizard, which is the professor, and basically, and while they're on their way there, Mom, who plays the witch in this little dream segment, manages to capture them and take her to them, and then they're wondering why she got captured them, and she said that because she never had a family of her own, and then basically, Leela decides to basically stay with her, and then basically, and then basically what happens is when they try to celebrate that, water gets spilled on her and then she melts, sort of similar like the Wicked Witch of the West, except in this case, what she says is, "Oh, I'm melting! Oh, could have never thought that a single drop of liquid would ever get on me!" And then they manage to, after they manage to escape that, they do get to where the professor is in the Emerald Laboratory, and then basically he gives Bender as the Tin Man the heart, and he tells Zoidberg who...
Oh, sorry, were you recording a video?
Yeah, I'm almost done anyway.
Alright, I just got your meds here, Pierce.
Anyway, hold on. After I finish recording this, I got something I want to show you that I think might be sort of interesting for me to try out.
Sure. We'll see how that goes, hey? Did you get a new game or something?
No, but I'm thinking of.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, it's something on YouTube and stuff.
Yeah, I'll come check it out in a bit, Pierce.
Okay, anyway, sorry about that, guys. If you saw that in the video, I apologize. They were just coming in to give me my help. So, again, I'm sorry if you saw that. But anyway, gives Bender the heart. Basically, Bender is the Tin Man. The reason why he needs a human heart is to pump the blood out of his basement. Oh my god, which is actually kind of a stupid reason. Oh my god. And then basically, the professor tells Zoidberg that he doesn't need courage. So after all, who needs courage when you have a gun? And then basically, he tells Leela, who's the Dorothy in this segment of the episode, basically that she wants to go back to her world, and then basically she said that's not what she wants anymore. She wants to become a witch, and then basically the professor basically mentions that they have to follow the storyline of the what if scenario, and now she has to just tap her 3 times and get back on where she with her aunt and uncle, and then basically she taps her. Oh, and then she says no place like it, and then she says that she wants to be a witch, but when she gets transformed into the witch form, that gets short-lived because Zoidberg spills water on her and causes her to melt. Oh my god. And then he says that, sorry, yes, your plumbing must have leaked. And then it goes back into the earlier, in this segment of the episode where Leela is in the real world and on the dream state after she's woken up. She's like, I was having the most wonderful dream, except you were there, and you were there, and you were there. And then basically Fry's like, never mind, Professor, she came to. And then the professor gets this upset about that because he's like, oh, so close. And then, because he was wanting to get Leela's organs, and then basically, Hermes is like, there's always next year, Professor. There's always next year. And then that's basically where this episode stops. So if you guys like this video when I post it, just please give this video the real best you guys can. And I will see you guys next time for the next Futurama video. But until then, like I always tell you with this series, fun on a bun.